I spent a lot of time observing relationships between men and women, and I noticed a subtle detail, but it makes all the difference, and it is necessary to tell you that. Someone exercises control over the relationship. This phrase may sound strange to your ears, and you may think, I'm the man in the relationship, I'm the angry one. Obviously, I'm in control, I'm the alpha male in the story. Is it really golden rosemary? Are you really that guy? Well, if you find yourself wondering why she does the things she does and often doesn't show respect or consideration for you, know that you're not as in control as you think. A woman who respects her man does not have attitudes that hurt him. That's a fact. If she admires you as a man, she sees you as the leader who will be the foundation of her life. If she sees you emotionally strong, she knows that you are her safe haven. If you strive to make more money, to have a prettier body, to dress better, to develop new skills, and not be a cheap victim who only complains and occupies a privileged place in society, that's a good start. But it's never your fault, is it? Well, now, since you've heard this explanation, to wake up to reality, and let's say that at the very least you are a decent guy and occupy the role that a man should have in the relationship and in society. But even so, she is proud. I'm going to reveal to you what truly destroys her pride and puts you at an advantage in the game. Have you ever reflected on what really destabilizes a woman? It's not an attractive face nor a fat bank account, and it's certainly not a desperate guy crawling after her like a needy puppy. What really makes a woman lose her way, question her certainties, and even reconsider her choices? A man who simply doesn't care. Yes, indifference is the ultimate con. The female ego is supported by a single pillar: attention. If you grant it, you have lost. If you pull it off, congratulations, you are now the trophy. Maybe you're there, trapped in the illusion that being kind and dedicated will make her value you, that if you show interest, respect, and availability, she will recognize your value. Nonsense. The man who chases her has only one function: to inflate her ego. And the worst part, or better, depending on your degree of masochism, as soon as she gets bored, she will discard you without hesitation. But what if this time it was different? What if, instead of being an extra in her play, you took on the main role in the story? Get ready, because today I'm going to show you why indifference is the only response she can't digest. In the end, tell me, who is after who now? Now it's time to stop just consuming high-value content without actually being part of the change. Supporting those who build every detail of this teaching and seek to help other warriors is an act of nobility. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the next videos. I make this daily commitment to you, so commit to me. This merciless machine called the YouTube algorithm is ruthless. It only respects numbers and only delivers content to more people this way. Support and help lift up many noble men who need these tough yet sincere and uplifting words. Without further ado, let's get to the first slap in the face. Number 1. Her ego is an insatiable monster, and your attention is the main course. Have you ever noticed how women feed on attention? How do they live off of likes, compliments, and messages from admirers desperate just to say hi? This doesn't happen by chance. The female ego has a single source of nourishment: validation. And it doesn't matter if this validation comes from the guy she really wants or from a complete stranger. The essential thing is to know that there is someone in line ready to spend energy trying to impress you. Now here comes the bitter part. If you are this guy, congratulations. You have become a free approval provider. You know that guy who likes every post, sends good morning religiously, and insists even when he receives a cold and dry response. Well, that's worth absolutely nothing to her. At most, it's a comforting reminder that there will always be a poor guy on call ready to stroke her ego. And do you know how she sees you? As a mere fan. Now notice the turning point. When a high-value man pays attention, the story changes. Because a man like that has options. He doesn't need to beg or cajole. So if he shows interest, that has meaning. Now imagine that this same man, out of nowhere, disappears. Stop replying, ignore messages, disappear from stories. Ready. Her system goes into overdrive. Did I do something wrong? Did he lose interest? Did he find someone better? Suddenly, she finds herself obsessed with trying to understand what happened. Because for an ego that feeds on attention, being ignored by a man who doesn't care is a mortal blow. Now answer me. Who has control? The fool who grovels or the man who acts like she's insignificant? The answer is clear. Here's the ultimate truth. The more attention you pay, the more predictable you become. And the more predictable, the less interesting. Want an example? She posts a photo on Instagram. Who is the first to like and comment beautiful in less than 30 seconds? The desperate one. And who disappears, doesn't like, doesn't comment or view the stories? The man who makes her lose sleep. Guess who occupies her mind? Exactly. What is rare always has more value. If you think this is just theory, hold on tight, because in the next topic I will show you how this lack of attention makes you despair. Number 2. When you are indifferent, her system collapses. Now that we understand that the female ego survives on attention, let's get to what really matters. What happens when you simply stop feeding that hunger? I'll tell you, it's not pretty to see. Women spend their entire lives surrounded by free attention. From the moment they post their first selfie, there is already a line of guys ready to praise and idolize them without them having to make any effort. So when a man shows up and just doesn't give a shit, her mind short-circuits. At first, she may pretend she doesn't care, but little by little, the penny starts to drop. And then, my friend, the cycle of despair enters. First, she thinks, "You're just busy." Then it starts to feel strange. He saw my message and didn't respond? He saw my story and didn't like it? Something is wrong. Then this strangeness turns into discomfort. He was never like that. Is he with someone else? Discomfort turns into paranoia. Why did he disappear? Did he lose interest? Is he with someone better? And that's it, you just planted the seed of doubt, while she's stuck in this whirlwind of thoughts, checking her phone every 5 minutes. You're living your life. And believe me, this feeling of loss of control is the biggest nightmare for an ego that has always been effortlessly inflated. Now comes the icing on the cake. She will never admit it. He can continue posting stories as if nothing had happened, go out with other guys to try to tease you or pretend he never noticed you. But deep down, she's troubled. And this inconvenience, my dear, is your greatest advantage. Because contrary to what many believe, women don't want what's easy. They desire the challenge, the mystery, the unattainable. When you become the man who doesn't care, you activate the most powerful trigger in the female mind. The desire for the unattainable. Now, my friend, the ball is in your court. Will you continue playing her game or finally become the protagonist of your own story? 3. The unexpected message trick. After days or even weeks of silence, suddenly there's a "hi, missing," or something like, "Hey, do you know where there's a good pizzeria?" Or even, "I think I saw you the other day, but I'm not sure." Now stop and reflect. Is she really interested in your answer? Obviously not. The real reason behind this is simple. She wants to test whether she still has access to you. If you respond excitedly, try to start a conversation, and show satisfaction at receiving this message, game over. But if you respond coldly, without giving space to prolong the conversation or even ignore it, the dynamic changes completely. At that moment, she feels like she has lost control. Now comes the final blow: total indifference. Understand once, and for all, women only play with those they believe are easy to manipulate. If you are predictable, always react the same way, and are constantly available, you become a weak opponent. But when you show that you don't care, that you have options and a well-established life, her perception changes. She completely loses her power. And guess what happens? She starts scouring your social media, asking mutual friends about you, and looking for ways to get your attention. The curious thing is that the more you ignore it, the closer it gets. The big question now is, what to do when she finally returns? If you're tired of being her toy, accepting scraps of attention and being discarded whenever she wants, then it's time to change the game. Stop now. You need to learn to become a real challenge, to never lower your head again and to put any woman in her place. 4. When she returns, what should her attitude be? If you've followed everything so far, one thing is certain: she will come back. It may take days, weeks, or even months, but the return is inevitable. The problem is that at this crucial moment, many men screw up. After maintaining firmness and control for so long, it reappears, and what do? They run to welcome her with open arms like an abandoned puppy. Fatal error. The moment she realizes that she can still manipulate you, that you are still under her control, she disappears again. Mission accomplished. Her ego has been restored. But if you want to maintain control and become a man who will never be stepped on again, pay attention to the 3 essential rules for when she returns. First, never respond immediately. If she texts you out of the blue, the worst thing you can do is respond within seconds, as if you were expecting it. This only confirms to her that you are still under her control. Instead, wait. Leave the message forgotten for hours, perhaps an entire day. She is the one who must ask herself, did he see and ignore me? Does he not want to talk to me anymore? Does he have someone else? Women value what is rare. If you respond right away, you become expendable. Second, be brief and direct. No responding with excitement or prolonging the conversation. If she says, "Hi, missing," keep the same energy. If asked how you are, just say, "Well, busy." No starting new conversations or giving her space to resume playing games. Keep it mysterious and notice how uneasy it makes her. Third, she is not your priority. If she suggests a date, don't accept it immediately. Say that you need to see your calendar, that you have other commitments. This reinforces the idea that she is not the center of her universe. And believe me, nothing is more powerful than that. When a woman realizes that she has no control over a man, that he can simply move on without her, that's when she feels the need to prove herself. You've come this far because something in this message resonated deeply within you. Maybe it was a painful truth you've experienced firsthand. Maybe it was the clarity you've been seeking but never fully heard expressed. Or maybe, just maybe, you've reached the end of your patience with being a man who gives everything and receives nothing but confusion, manipulation, and silence in return. Now is the time to take a breath and reflect. You see, this entire journey wasn't just about understanding female behavior or playing some psychological game. This was about waking up, about remembering who you are, or discovering who you've always been beneath layers of people-pleasing and emotional dependence. It's about reclaiming the power you've given away, one message, one compliment, one ignored boundary at a time. Let this truth settle in your spirit. A woman's validation is not your reward. Your dignity is. You were never born to be a backup plan, an emotional punching bag, or a source of easy attention. You were born to lead, to build, to stand firm in your values. And a woman, any woman, is either someone who recognizes and respects that, or she's simply not worthy of the position she wants in your life. This isn't about hatred, bitterness, or revenge. It's about clarity. It's about setting a new standard, one where your energy is sacred, one where your time is invested, not wasted, one where your presence is felt not because you beg to be seen, but because you've chosen to be rare, to be unavailable, to be focused. And that, my friend, is where true attraction begins. Do you want to know what really captures a woman's interest? A man who no longer needs her approval to feel worthy. A man who's built such a strong foundation of self-respect that no silent treatment, no social media stunt, no "I miss you" message can shake him. That man is you, if you choose to become him. Think back to every time you were dismissed, ignored, or manipulated by someone who pretended to love you. Think of the sleepless nights, the desperate texts, the overanalyzing, the self-doubt. Then ask yourself, what did I gain from giving everything? Now think of the moments when you pulled back, when you stopped answering right away, when you chose silence instead of seeking closure. What happened then? The dynamic shifted. She noticed. She wondered. She questioned. And that's when the truth emerged. You were the one with the power all along. You just needed to remember it. But here's where things truly change. You must never go back to being the man you were before this awakening. Because once your eyes are opened, there's no unseeing what you now know. There's no unhearing. The sound of your own worth calling you to rise. You are not just a man in this story. You are the story. You are the storm that cannot be tamed, the calm in chaos, the standard that no temporary thrill can replace. You are the kind of man who doesn't react. He chooses. And every choice you make from now on must come from a place of strength, not desperation. Let her wonder. Let her scroll through your page looking for signs of emotion. Let her try to decipher your silence. You've already said everything you needed to say by choosing yourself. And yes, one day she will come back. They always do. But this time you won't be waiting. Because you're not standing still anymore. You're not her fan, her fallback, or her fix. You are your own foundation. You've built something she cannot shake. And that, my friend, is your greatest revenge. Peace. Peace in knowing that you didn't lose her. You simply stopped chasing someone who never truly valued what you had to offer. And now, instead of asking what went wrong, you're asking, what can I build now that I'm finally free? That's the question of a man reborn. So what's next? You keep growing. You stay disciplined. You set goals. You hit the gym. You read. You surround yourself with men who speak life, truth, and fire into your path. You protect your soul, your mind, and your mission. And when a woman enters your life again, she meets a man who cannot be moved. Not because he's playing games, but because he's no longer available for nonsense. That's your new baseline. Peace, purpose, power. And don't mistake indifference for cruelty. You don't need to be cold, you just need to be clear. Clear about what you will and will not accept. Clear about what deserves your time. Clear about who you are, because clarity is strength. Now, if this message stirred something inside you, if you felt seen, challenged, or awakened, then this is your moment to make a decision. Don't let this be another video you watch, nod, and forget. Make it a turning point. Right now, take that small but bold step forward. Subscribe to this channel. Click like to declare your alignment with truth. Hit the notification bell to stay connected to the mission. And most of all, leave a comment. Share a word of power, a lesson you've learned, or even just a "I'm awake now," because your words might be the exact push another man needs to rise. And if you know someone, anyone who needs to hear this message, send it. Share it boldly. Don't keep the light to yourself when so many others are lost in the dark. This is more than content. This is a brotherhood, a movement, a rising of men who are tired of being broken, confused, and ignored, and ready to lead, love, and live with strength. We're building something here. And I want you to be part of it, not just watching from the sidelines, but standing shoulder to shoulder with men who choose growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and dignity over desperation. Remember, your silence speaks louder than begging. Ever will. And your self-respect will always be more attractive than any pickup line. So rise, King, because now the world doesn't just need more men, it needs more unshakable ones. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget, subscribe. Like, hit the bell, comment something powerful, and share this with a brother who needs it. Stay strong, stay focused, and never, never go back to being who she thought you were. This is not a little game. This is basic psychology. Women don't value men who give themselves for free. They don't respect those who grovel, and they aren't interested in those who beg for a space in their lives. What they really want is a challenge. If you followed everything this far, congratulations. You are already walking the right path. Now there's just one last adjustment left, your mindset. Because it's not enough to just pretend indifference once, you have to actually become a man who will never be ignored again. And in the next topic, I'll show you how to develop this high-value mindset so that no woman will ever play with you again. We have reached the end of this content, and if you have followed everything so far, it is because you really want to transform your mentality and the way you position yourself. And that, in itself, already sets you apart from the majority. Many spend their entire lives trapped in destructive patterns, hostage to emotions that only weaken them, but you chose to see the truth and act differently. This shift is what sets you on the path to self-mastery, respect, and genuine worth. What we talk about here is not just about techniques or strategies for dealing with women. It goes much further than that. This is about your value as a man, about how you see yourself, and how you allow yourself to be treated. Because when you stop accepting less than you deserve, when you understand that no one has power over you unless you allow them, your life changes completely. Indifference, firm, stance, self-respect, all of this is not a game, it's a choice. The choice of not being one of the many who are always crawling for attention, who beg for crumbs of interest, and subject themselves to relationships where only one side wins. When you internalize this truth, you become a man who commands respect, who cannot be manipulated, and who naturally attracts those who are truly worth it. The big question is, what are you going to do with all this? Are you just going to let this information pass, go back to your old habits and repeat the same mistakes? Or are you going to actually apply it and see the results with your own eyes? The decision is yours. But one thing is certain. Once you understand the dynamics of power and value, you can never pretend you don't know again. Now, if this content made sense to you, if it helped you open your eyes and see reality from a new angle, then share this video with someone who also needs to hear this. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive more content like this. I also want to know your opinion. Leave your comment below telling us what was the biggest insight you gained from this conversation. I will read each one of them. See you in the next video.